What is up, guys? Private Eye Rush here. Welcome to another episode of the Private Eye Rush Show. I am your host, owner, operator, full service private investigation company and consulting firm. So, corporate theft investigations, criminal defense investigations, litigation support investigations, one-on-one personal development coaching. Links will be in the description below. If you need my help, just reach out to me and I'll take care of you. I'll try to take care of you, or at the very least, point you in the right direction. All right, so let's go ahead and get straight into this. Oh, before we get started, please do me a favor. It doesn't cost you anything. It's very valuable to the channel and trying to grow this community. I'm trying to build a community of feeding you guys both entertaining and helpful information for life issues, legal issues. With my limited scope, I'm not an attorney, obviously. I am a licensed private investigator, licensed bail bondsman. I've also been on this planet for quite a few years, and so I've got a lot of experience that I can share with you guys to make your lives better. All right, so but also too, I'm also going to be putting out some case files as well too. I've got a new format of how I'm going to be doing the case files. Let me know what you guys think of them. They should be ready in the next couple of days. All right, so one of these things we're going to do right now, we're going to go ahead and react to this video. This is an attorney out in Arizona, but we're going to draw some comparisons. I'm going to give you guys a tip to help you guys going forward.
The owner of Matthew Lopez Law. We are the largest criminal defense law firm in the entire state of Arizona. I'm shooting this video because if you're new to my channel, I shoot a lot of the videos, topical videos I get from TMZ about celebrities and athletes getting in trouble with the law. And so usually the views are, a couple thousand views, but I did this one recently about getting an escort is risky, and it's got something like 79,000 views on YouTube. So clearly there's a demand for it, but I laid out why it's risky. Obviously there's health reasons, but from a legal standpoint, in Arizona, and I'm only licensed in the state of Arizona, so I can only speak to Arizona. If you get caught with a prostitute or an escort, if it's over 18, it's a misdemeanor, your first offense. In some courts will give you diversion. Some courts it's a day or two in jail. Your second offense, it can be at least 20 days in jail. But what the police are doing are they're twisting the facts a little bit. I've been practicing law since 2010, and so I'm going to change the topic of this video a little bit I'm going to dive into it as to what they do, what the cops do, because there was a lot of interest in what the cops do. And so when I first started practicing law, there was a website called Backpages, and now coincidentally, people from Backpages, they're from Arizona, but that's where people would go to get their escorts, or maybe Craigslist. And now there's all kinds of escort pages and singles pages, and you look for a massage on Facebook or whatever it is. And so people are getting on these websites to find escorts. I don't know. I've never found an escort before. All I can go off of is what my clients and potential clients tell me.
Fact. Backpage was it was the most visible back in those days, but it wasn't even a major player when it came to how many escorts were advertised on their site. It's just the one that was most forward facing. So people had a great sense of outrage, and so everybody was happy. There were, when they were shut down, they were legally shut down. I think the owner of it wound up getting some time. I'm not sure if he did any time. He wound up getting convicted of something or another, helping to facilitate that sort of thing, because they had quite a few instances. I actually interviewed a young lady who was on Backpage when she was, I think, 15 years old, advertising services as an escort. Obviously, to do anything legal and lawfully, you have to be 18 years old to consent, at least here in the state of Florida. And she was, she was underage. Nobody knew she was underage, but she was able to get around the age restrictions. We've talked about this before with the fake ID things and the Seminole County Clerk of the Court, how he was issuing IDs that were literally state issue IDs, but would exaggerate a young girl's age to make her appear to be a woman. But there's a lot of sites. There's a ton of them. I've been on a bunch of the sites. No, I'm not there picking up escorts. In some of my searches for missing and exploited children, I think I told you guys before, I volunteer some of my time as a licensed investigator to search for missing and exploited children. And one of the things the evil individuals who will lure them away from their homes will do is try to put them to work. Yes, that type of work. And so it's really challenging to find them because they always change their appearance because they know there are people like me searching for them. And so we'll go on these sites, and if we see something that's similar, we'll take a screenshot and we'll send those screenshots to the parents or the other loved ones or family members. Say, okay, could this be this person, boy, girl, whatever it might be, and it is boys and girls that get put on these different places, and so there's a ton of them out there, man. Anyway, let's keep going. Fair use.
Of how they're looking. And so they get on these websites and they find these girls and they start chatting. And I don't know who's to say. Maybe some of them are legitimate, and you find somebody and you hook up with them at the hotel or they come to your house, whatever, and it's all good. I rarely see those guys, and so I know a lot of the comments in the original video I have were saying, "Look, this guy's lying if he's saying you're going to get 5 years in prison or 10 years in prison for hooking up with an escort." But truth of the matter, folks, is I don't see that very often anymore. I don't see the regular. Every now and again, we'll get it, but on average, I'm not seeing the. I'm trying to find somebody who's an adult, and I get busted. What I'm seeing is my clients start talking to somebody, and they're talking about what they want to do, etc. And at the very last minute, the person says, "Oh, by the way, I'm not 18 years old. I'm under." Is that going to be okay? Well, my clients are already.
Fact, this is one way where guys wind up getting set up. Look, first of all, look, there is no such thing as consent with someone who is underage. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. It doesn't matter if they were a willing participant or not. It just isn't. All right. So you're going to be guilty just off that. So what he's talking about is kind of the bait and switch setup where you're talking to somebody, you see somebody's pictures online, and you say, okay, you know what? Yeah, let's link up. I'm going to pay you this much for letting me eat ground up toenail clippings. Who knows, right? So I don't know. And so, but right before you go to meet them, they say, okay, oh, by the way, I'm not 18, I'm 15. Here's your response. Here's your reply. I'm not telling anybody that they should be picking up escorts. You shouldn't. It is illegal, like he said. And if you get caught, doing it, you're going to get in trouble. All right. But I know there are guys out there that are going to do this because I'll tell you guys two stories afterwards. One story afterwards, which is kind of a cautionary tale, which involves a client of mine. And spoiler alert, he wound up getting himself in a little bit of trouble. But anyway, so they do the bait and switch, and your reply to something like this: "Oh, you're not 18 or you're not 21, whatever state you're in, and whatever the legal age of consent is. Here's what you do: click, get off the phone, block that number immediately." That's your reply. If you show up to that place, you're screwed because you knowingly you acknowledge that you know that this person is underage, and it's illegal everywhere in the country. So just don't do it. But I know some guys are going to be looking for women, not girls, women. But you've got to be really, really careful. So that should be an easy answer. But guys get so hyped up, and if you cannot control your lower self and your lustful behavior, you are going to be victimized by it. All right, let's keep going. Fair use.
Excited about the situation, and they're ready to meet somebody, and they say, well, whatever, you're on this website and it's fine, I'll go meet up with you. As soon as they do that, as soon as they get in the car, as soon as they meet them at McDonald's or Cracker Barrel or Arby's, I had one last week, wherever the hell they're going to meet, as soon as they get in that car and the person has told them that they're not 18 and it's an undercover, boom, they're arrested. So it's what we call an overt act of getting in the car and driving somewhere. That's an overt act. So they've attempted to commit the offense, right? And the offense would be hooking up with an underage escort. And so they're arrested. The bonds are huge. The bonds, I've seen a $100,000 bond. I've seen a $200,000 bond. They've got to tell their wife. They've got to tell their employer. They're going to get the divorce. They're going to get separated. They're going to lose their job. And then on top of all of that, the prison sentence is huge, which makes no sense, right? because it was a fictional purpose. It was a police officer. It wasn't even what they intended it to be. And so, take it one step further, they get arrested, and then the police search their phone, right? And if they find anything, and you know what I'm talking about, on their phone that's
Hmm.
illegal, each one of those images is 10 years in prison. And I don't know the laws in other states. I have no idea. And it's unbelievable to me that that's the actual penalty, but it is. That's the penalty. One image, 10 years in prison, coupled with, they went to go solicit, right? So that's even more years in prison. So it just gets compounded in the eyes of the law. So if you're looking for getting an escort is very risky, even if it's a legitimate escort. You could get robbed, you could get mugged, you could get an STD, whatever it.
Fact. Um, here in Florida, same thing. There was a case, a famous case, maybe about 10 years ago, of a young man, underage young man, 16 years old, who solicited um, nude photos from another young lady, similar age, maybe a year younger, maybe 14 or 15 years old. And if he had just done that, he might have gotten away with it. He might not have gotten in trouble. Well, here's what he did. He decided to take those photos and forward them to a whole bunch of other people, humiliating the young lady. And obviously, she went to her parents. Parents went to them. And guess what? Even though he's an underage young man, even though they're both the same age. Guess what? Every single image he solicited from her was a charge. Every one he had possession of was a charge. Every one he sent to everybody. Not like he sent one picture and that was a charge. No, if he sent the same picture to 10 people, that was 10 different charges. And so you can wind up racking up like literally like basketball score years in prison or sentencing. And so I don't know why people are still asking for pictures. Don't ask for them. Certainly, if someone is underage, don't even engage them in anything like that at all. I mean, yeah, that goes without saying. But yeah, he's 100% correct. They are. When it comes to, and here's the thing, when it comes to people who want to mess with children, you know what? Sorry, I have no sympathy for you. Sorry, I have no sympathy for people who want to mess with children. Leave children alone. Let them grow up, let them make choices once they're of age, right? So, anyway, let's keep going.
May be, I don't know. But from a legal perspective, if things change a little bit and they say, by the way, I'm under 18, and you go in Arizona, you are in a mess of a situation. You need a lawyer ASAP.
Same thing in Florida, you're screwed.
You need to avoid the consequences. Um, Tell me what you think. Leave the comments. I know I replied to a lot of the comments in the video that I shot before with the 79,000 last time I checked views. But comment and I'll reach out to you. I'll let you know what I think again from an air.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into some of the other stuff in this. All right, so obviously he's a licensed attorney, not here in Florida, but you guys get the gist, and that's actually pretty valid. The information he was putting out there. So. Um, Here in Florida, it used to be the cops would set up stings, like Grady Judd, Polk County Sheriff. Look him up, Polk County Sheriff. He does some like famous press conferences. A bunch of them are on YouTube, and he will put your business out in the street if you get arrested. Sorry. If you get arrested try to solicit a prostitute or an escort in Polk County. Now, if you go even further and you're trying to link up with an underage child, which they have a lot of those, they're really famous for those. They'll do stings where they'll arrest 150, 180 people over the course of a week. And so they're putting in a lot of work, man. If you try to link up with a child, you're screwed. So don't link up with children. Leave them alone, right? But they put all your business out in the street. I don't know how it is in other states, but you get arrested, they will put your face, private eye Russ, arrested for soliciting a an escort for whatever, right? So sorry guys, haven't been sleeping much, been working crazy hours, so I apologize. So here's the new hustle in Florida. All right, what they're doing, at least here in Central Florida, and I know this because one of my clients got arrested. So on one of my rare nights where I get to sleep at a decent time, It seems like this happens every time. Like I work crazy hours, as you can imagine, private investigator, bail bondsman, executive protection. Some of the hours are weird. I'm not a 9 to 5 guy. I work a bunch of different crazy hours, and that's just the nature of what I do, right? So I get a phone call from Orange County. All right, so I am a licensed bail bondsman. I can't write bonds myself because I don't own a bail bonds company. Bail bondsmen hire me to track down and arrest their skips, people who've skipped out and on their bond. So I'm one of the guys that goes and tracks them down and arrests you. So I see it's Orange County, and I know a bunch of people that are in Orange County regularly because a lot of my CIs, my confidential informants, my information sources, a lot of them or facilitation sources, people that will introduce me to people that can give me information. A lot of them are in and out of jail. A lot of them have drug issues. Some of them are homeless, but most of them have drug issues and extensive criminal records. So when I see Orange County is calling, I've got it saved on my phone. I'll answer it. No matter what time it is. Why? Because if they've done me a good turn in the past, if they need to get bonded out, I can call other bail bondsmen, friends of mine, and they'll go bond them out immediately in most cases, right? So I see this one, pick it up, and he goes, "Hey, you get a call. You have a collect call from Bob Smith in Orange County Jail to accept, press this, to say no, whatever." And so I've got an account with the prison thing where you put money on people's books and things like that. And so I was like, click yes. Hey man, what are you doing? And he was like, I need you to get me bonded out. I was like, okay, say no more. I'm on it. So I look up his booking report. He didn't say anything about it, but you can look it up. I look up the booking report, and I'm like, oh my God. And so he got arrested on a prostitution sting, soliciting a prostitution, and I think, and that was it. So it was a pretty simple charge, but still, here's where things get weird. He's a client of mine, and he happens to be married. Happens to be a married guy, and he also happens to be an attorney, and so. I'm looking, I'm like, oh my God, how did he get himself caught up in this mess? And look, it's well known. Like his wife knows that he will sometimes hire escorts. She knows this, and he's open about it. Well, I mean, he is now. He's gotten arrested. He didn't get arrested. He got caught before she found out what he was doing. Before he didn't consult me about how to keep things private. I actually do some privacy consulting as well too for corporate accounts and for personal accounts as well too. Whatever information you want to keep secret or your movements or travel patterns, I can help you with that as well too. So reach out to me. Links in the description below. Anyway, it'll be just between us. Anyway, so he didn't consult with me on how to keep things under wraps. His wife is also an attorney. They make a ton of money. They're both very good attorneys. And so she just said, look, you do what you got to do. Just keep it out of the house and protect yourself and don't get in trouble. So he called me because he was embarrassed that he got arrested because he's an attorney. And so I get them bonded out, and they bond out when they're going to bond out. So you can bring the bond paperwork or the bondsman. I called one of my bondsman friends, said, "Hey, I need this guy bonded out. How much is it?" And they'll tell me. I'll cash app them the money. Here you go. Here's the money. Will you sign for him? Yes, I'll sign for him. And so somebody has to be in charge of, or someone says, "Hey, I'm gonna be the person who's signing the insurance contract that he's going to show up to court." Obviously, he's an attorney. He's going to show up to court. So he's an officer of the court. So he's going to be there. So I get a call. I go to pick him up, and I'm we're in we're in the car, and I was like, well, you know what? We got to drive at least a 35-minute drive to your house. So I know you got one hell of a story to tell. Let me hear it. And this is where the cautionary tale comes in, how police are changing some of their tactics. So you're getting it from here, Private Eye Russ. You heard it here first, folks. Anyway, so he kind of sees the same escorts on a regular basis. Every now and then he'll go to different ones here and there, but there's one he's been seeing for the last 15 years. She's an older escort. From what I understand, she's in her mid to late 40s. she's, she is whatever she is. He likes whatever he likes about her, whatever, right? Well, what he didn't know was that she had gotten arrested. And so what they're doing is now different counties, whether it's Orange County, Seminole County, I don't know if Polk County is doing this. I know Osceola County is doing the same thing as well too. They'll arrest a prostitute or some other minor criminal, and they'll say, okay, if you give us 2 or 3 people to take your place, we'll drop the charges, and then maybe then they also try to recruit them to be CIs, to be confidential informants. And confidential informants can make money when they're informing law enforcement. My confidential informants get paid cash for the information they give me. So I know cops will do the same thing. They're probably not paying as much as I do. So if you're looking for some work as a confidential informant and you're in Central Florida, look me up. Anyway, so I'm sorry, just a shameless plug there. So this lady that he had been seeing for years, that he trusted, and that's why he would see pretty much the same women over and over again, because he didn't want to get caught up in something like this. And so there's a certain amount of familiarity, and there's a feeling of safety and security when you deal with this individual. She was staying at the same apartment for all these years as well too. So he goes there. He texts her, "Hey, can I come see you? This, that, the other thing." She's like, "Well, I get to see the text chain. My prices have changed. This, that. Okay, no problem. You want cash or cash out? Oh, bring cash." So he goes, stops by an ATM, picks up cash, goes to her place, parks, walks into her place. She lets him in. The door closes. He gets arrested. He gets tackled to the ground. He gets arrested, and he gets put in a van. And so this is what she was doing to get herself out of trouble. Because I guess she couldn't bond out or whatever it was, because it wasn't that she didn't get arrested for prostitution. She got arrested for possession with intent. And so they're like, all right, give us some other people. And so, they arrest this attorney. He's not a well-known attorney. He's a very good attorney, but he's not like, one of the guys whose names is on billboards or anything like that. And so he gets arrested. Now, here's where he helped himself. He was actually very careful not to talk about any sex acts. And so he was just like, okay, you want me to bring you cash? Oh, my prices have changed. Okay, yeah, I'll bring you cash. And he brought her cash. And so these charges are going to be dropped. The legal process has to do what it does, but they are going to be dropped. But that's one of the things they're doing now. And it's not just Johns they're trying to arrest. They're trying to get them to flip on anybody. And so if you have a long-time relationship with someone who's, say, for instance, is a unauthorized street pharmaceuticals dealer, let's just call it, and they get arrested, well, there's no way for you to know. So you got to be careful and use caution. Better yet, go get help, go to rehab, do what you got to do. The guys that are picking up escorts, look, I'm not going to sit there and patronize anybody, say, oh, it's wrong what you're doing. People do what they do. I'm not here to judge people what they do. It's just you got to be super, super careful. Do people get robbed? Yes, I've actually had 3 clients get robbed by not the escorts themselves, but by their handlers, boyfriends, pimps, whatever you want to call them, human traffickers. They've been robbed there. One guy actually got beaten up and roughed up, his clothes torn. Another guy got threatened at gunpoint. Another dude was strong arm robbery, robbed by a couple of guys as well too. And yet another guy got thrown out into out of the motel room, pretty much buck naked. I can't even imagine being in that situation. But so there is some risk involved. If you think you're just going to see that young lady you saw on that picture, on that ad or whatever it was, it could be just her. It could be. There are some out there that are just, I guess, honest, I guess you could say, that are just doing business, right? But there are some that are setting people up to get robbed, and most of these cases never get reported because who's going to say, yeah, hey, police, I went to go meet up with an escort and I got robbed. Nobody's going to say that. It's embarrassing, but also too, you're implicating yourself because you were engaging in criminal activity when you got jacked in the first place. So don't get jacked. I'm not going to put out tips and tricks about how to vet escorts to make sure they're safe. I'm sure YouTube would have some kind of problem with that. Who knows? Maybe even law enforcement. I don't think law enforcement would have a problem with that because you can advise people on whatever you want to advise them on. So be very, very cautious. Be very, very careful. There is an increase in stings that are going on a regular basis, at least here in Florida. I can't imagine it's not spreading to all over the place. So keep your head on a swivel, guys. Anyway, this is your boy Private Eye Russ. This is the end of the video. Please join the Discord server. Follow me on X at Private Eye Russ. Like, subscribe, share, get in the comment section. If you do need a private investigator, a consultant, or one-on-one personal development coaching, there will be links in the description below so you can reach out to me. I'm pretty good about contacting people back. I'm a little bit backed up, so I got a little bit of a backlog. I will be getting to you guys shortly. It's just, again, the schedule with the executive protection, plus I still have to run my investigations as well too, here locally, remotely, as well as overseas, internationally, and around the country. And so at the end of the day, there's only so much time, in the day, and I am still looking for another assistant, and I've got one that's kind of been working a little bit. We'll see how this one works out. So to make my life a little bit easier, so I can get back to just performing the way I like to. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Every single one of you who has subscribed, you are an absolute champion. Thank you so much. And share and ask your friends to subscribe as well too. I'd like to get to 1,500 subscribers. We're at 1,300 now, right around thereabouts. And it'll be great if we can get to 2,000 as well too, and keep trying to grow the community. So I will talk to you guys later. There are some really good developments on the way. Again, the book had to be pushed back because of the schedule. I've been on an absolute brutal schedule. That's why I was yawning a couple of times, which I apologize. But the schedule has been absolutely brutal. There's only so much coffee you can drink. So I will talk to you guys in the next one. Stay tuned. Stay plugged in.